Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How are we getting on? So, Bethesda have released a little bit more news today regarding the upcoming Wastelanders update for Fallout 76, and it's looking very, very cool. It's really nice to see a little bit more about this. Hopefully build a little bit more hype, which would be really nice, and something very positive to look forward to, which is very, very cool. So for today's little blog post, they've got a bit more information on the upcoming DLC and a little look at some of what we can expect to see, which is cool. So it's not the first time Bethesda have actually shared something on this particular topic, but it's nice to see some new shots and another look at what we can expect to see in the coming months. So, without too much further ado, let's jump in and take a look at what they've got for us. So, first things first, we've got a Halloween autumnal picture here, which is really quite nice, actually. Curious as to where that is. It's a really nice shot through the woods there in Appalachia. Good place to start. So, happy Thanksgiving. Welcome back to Inside the Vault. We hope you saved a little room after your Thanksgiving feast this weekend for a little bit of Wastelanders, because we've got a few screenshots for you to gobble up. And in case you haven't heard yet, there's a Purveyor Legendary sale, even, that's live in game right now. Read on for some details. So, fill your plate with Wastelanders screenshots. Fill your plate with Wastelanders screenshots. Thanksgiving isn't just about filling our faces and stomachs with as much delicious food as possible, it's also about sharing and showing gratitude. This year we're thankful for all of you who continue to play Fallout 76 and provide your feedback and share in our awesome community. Thank you for sticking with us. In the spirit of sharing, we thought it might be a fun surprise to bring a few new Wastelanders screenshots to the table for you to dig into over the holiday weekend. Cool. And we've got some very, very cool stuff here. So, first things first, some mysterious cultists have infiltrated Appalachia. What are they up to? So, I'm going to hop over and have a look at a bigger version of this picture, because it's worth downloading these if you want a detailed look. So they're actually much bigger than the blog post would imply. So, I'll have a look at a bit more detail here. Got one of the churches scattered around the map, and at a guess, I'd say this is probably the one near Billings Homestead. I'm going to leave digging really deep into these photos to other people who are much better at it than I am, but it's very, very cool to see. We've got a serious overhaul of the decoration in this location, at least if it's where I think it is. If it's the church I think it is, I can't for the life of me remember the name of right now, then it'll be down near Billings Homestead, as I say, in the southern forest region. And yeah, there's a bit of a cultist theme in there anyway, but they've clearly gone overboard on this. We've got a few raider tents down here in the bottom corner. And I'm guessing those look like the rib cages of scorched beasts or something stuck to the side of the building there. I don't know, but that would be my guess. Very, very interesting use of that. So whether or not that means it's a scorched beast cult or just another Mothman cult. Just another Mothman cult. We'd never have too much Mothman. It's very, very cool nonetheless. Very atmospheric looking location, especially at the night. Very, very cool. Got some spotlights, I think, down the bottom there, illuminating the building. Yeah, that should be an interesting location to explore. Haven't got any signs of what sort of people might be here. That should be very, very cool to take a look at. So, moving on. Groups of raiders are an ever-present threat throughout the wasteland. Surely anyone who settles in a place like this is up to no good. Yes, down in the southern ash heap, and I would imagine they are up to no good. So this location, I think, is probably quite close to Lewisburg, judging by the angle of this shot. You can see the top of the world tucked right in the top left corner there. Well, not quite in the top left corner, but you know what I mean, on the skyline. And in the corner as well, on the other side, we've got, I think that'll be the Hornwright Estate, to be honest. Possibly the Gahan one, but I think it'll be the Hornwright Estate. So looking up in the general direction of Lewisburg, I've got a feeling this is a location I've seen No Respawn build a camp in, actually. But as you can see, it's very, very raidery. Got a lot of tyres and a lot of ash heap themed stuff, which is quite cool, along with the crane there. It's keeping the vibe of Fallout 76's existing raider camps, which is quite cool, and sort of moving on from Fallout 4's style, which is good. A lot of industrial stuff knocking around, as well as the usual cages and spikes as well. We've got a couple of areas here that look like there might be an entrance. In the middle there, we've got some tents and tyres and wooden structures on top of a crate, I think that is, a shipping crate, cargo container, something like that, which looks cool. Interesting to see what's going on there. I'm guessing some kind of shelter, possibly a structure building of some kind, or improvised version of. Plenty of walls to keep out the denizens of the wasteland. At the bottom left, we can see somebody standing in a doorway made of tyres there, which is quite cool. There's definitely a few assets I would like to get my hands on for building with here as well, which is cool. I would like some of those tents so I can do a few more interesting bits and pieces. More raidery stuff like spike poles and stuff for building raider-esque camps. There's a few different sets of tyre combinations here, which would be quite cool. The entranceway, possibly doable actually there. Put a guard post on top of a stack of tyres. That might even be manageable with what we've got. That looks quite cool. Somebody going in there in a greaser jacket and jeans. Good luck to that person. Pool table in the back there as well. So definitely in keeping with the raider vibe. Very, very nice. Oh, very, very not nice. One or the other anyway. So, we get into something now that is a little different and a little more original, which is really cool. Hid beneath the earth to explore Watoga Underground, an automated subterranean parking garage. This is a very, very interesting shot and very cool, and something we haven't really seen in any Fallout in any detail. We saw a tiny little bit at the start of Fallout 4, but very, very cool to see. Specifically, we're looking at some fully preserved cars that have survived the bombs and haven't been out exposed to the weather and rusting away for the last 20 years. They're actually in pretty good nick. I'm really hoping we can activate some of the seats in them and actually sit in them, because that would make for some fantastic photos. But either way, it's very, very cool looking stuff. The closer to the concept art for the sort of pre-nuclear Fallout world, really nice to see, because not very often we get the opportunity to see undamaged pre-war stuff like this, which is cool. Massive leave or die sign indicating this will probably be another raider-filled area. Cool. Random, I'm assuming that's a Mr. Gutsy. It looks like a Mr. Gutsy there. Robots as well. Might be interesting to see what's going on with this faction, if they've got robots and raider vibes going on. Possibly the raiders turned up, set up shop, and got kicked out in brutal style by the robots. Got a little bit of a military theme on the left-hand side here, with some guard posts and some weapons crates and stuff like that. As I say, a bit more raider stuff. This should be an interesting location to explore. I hope it goes on for a little while rather than just being a small self-contained area. Be fun to have a wander around this, I think. Looking very, very cool. And on for the next one. Below Spruce Knob, Foundation settlers have discovered a cave where they can take cover from scorched beasts and make plans to rebuild Appalachia. This is interesting, because there's supposed to be a lot less scorched beasts knocking around during Wastelanders. Especially with the whole cleaning up Appalachia thing that they were doing before what was supposed to be the original launch date. But obviously, if they're not going to remove the main story as is, which would be a very strange choice if they did, then scorched beasts will still be flapping around, and settlers will want to avoid them, no doubt. Got a location here that is definitely very much a Project Paradise type of vibe, with the water and the plants and the underground cave and things. Very, very industrial looking. These settlers knocking around in some industrial type clothing in the bottom left there. Can't see so much detail on the fellow in the centre, but looks very, very cool nonetheless. It'll be interesting to see what they're doing with this location. Obviously, it's a sort of an underground extension of their settlement, but quite cool to see what they're making of it and what's going on down here. Potential for some interesting story stuff. I have to see where Bethesda go with this, because there's not a lot to glean from this photo that I can see. The lighting's quite cool. I like that a lot. But that should be fun. A few plants underneath, which is also interesting. Like full-grown trees from the look of this. So relying on the lighting from the electric lights from the look of that in order to grow. Quite cool. Be interesting to see where this goes. Interesting to see what may or may not be residing in the water as well. So, and onto a post that kind of relates to the original release of screenshots a while back. It was, September? Early October? One or the other. We saw our first Ghoul character. We've got a bit more detail on here. So, last time we shared screenshots, we'll take a quick look at those in a moment. Many of you spotted this handsome Ghoul. His name is Mort, which I have a feeling we did already know. You'll generally find him passing his days with the Duchess at the Wayward, an inn not too far from Vault 76. So, cool new location, an inn not too far from Vault 76, somewhere to explore. That should be cool. Looking forward to finding out a bit about that. And it's places like this that the Wastelanders expansion is really going to start to overlap with sort of the original storyline, especially for low-level characters, which will be quite interesting to see how those two areas interact. I'd imagine the two can interact quite well. I don't see why the history and the main questline as it is, it's sort of re-exploring what went on prior to your leaving the vault in those 21 years. So there's no particular reason that the presence of people, in short, would prevent you from doing that, or mean you wouldn't do that. So exploring with following the Overseer's trail and stuff would be interesting. I'm curious as to whether or not any of the dialogue on the holotapes of the Overseers will change any to accommodate the fact that there are now people around, because saying that, it's supposed to be a year on from that point anyway, so there's some issues in there as to how they're going to make those two match up, which is going to be interesting to explore. But I assume Bethesda will have thought about this and covered it in some way. Hopefully the two will mesh a little bit better. It'll be cool to see. But yeah, we've got Mort looking like a relatively handsome young ghoul. He's not quite as emaciated as some. Yeah, we can see a little bit more detail around his skin. It's definitely more detailed and a little bit more high res than it used to be in Fallout 4, which is nice. Not so much on the clothes, although there is some improvement there. But still, the skin texture is really quite cool. Looks really, really good. It'd be interesting to meet a ghoul sort of 20 years after the bombs fell. He's obviously not been a ghoul for really all that long at this point, so his experiences will be quite interesting to explore, and hopefully other ghouls as well. It'll be an interesting thing to explore his experiences and how people are responding to him, especially as the ghoul phenomenon, for want of a better word, will be a relatively new thing in the Wasteland. Saying that, with Fallout 3, and I suppose Fallout 4 as well, ghouls you wouldn't be familiar with when the character first emerges, so in both cases you've been underground your whole life and don't encounter ghouls. Saying that, though, in Fallout 3 your father would have encountered ghouls, so who knows, maybe you have heard about them. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see this sort of first interaction. Will be quite cool. From the look of things, this individual on the left is actually a player character, judging by the Pip-Boy on his arm. Could be a former Vault Dweller. Seems like a likely possibility given that it's not so long after the bombs fell, so vaults opening, that sort of thing, is a good possibility. We've got a few interesting new outfits to have a look at. The shirt and waistcoat's not particularly new, but the player character here, we're going to go with for now, does appear to be wearing a new outfit and a new hat. I'm guessing this is a screenshot taken from a conversation. Although we haven't got any conversation options visible, it does look like they're conversing about something. That's quite cool. This inn, the Wayward, is definitely looking a little worse for the wear, but I guess it's an ongoing project to patch the place up. Yeah, very, very cool. It'd be great to have a bit more of a look at that in time. So taking a quick look back over at what they've shown us before. I've covered this before in a previous video, but we can have a look at a bit more detail. Got a Vault Dweller and a couple of other individuals, presumably NPCs, progressing into an underground location that appears to be a former mine, heading out of a building structure from the look of this into the mine area, which is quite cool. Be good to see what's going on there. Hopefully that's going to be a new hairstyle, or I've missed something. Another little look here at Mort and the Duchess, and the new inn. Looks actually, from the old picture, more like a boarded up existing structure, possibly sort of a mobile home type thing that's been converted. But we'll have to see how that actually goes. Just looking at around the edge of the window there and at the top. We've still got the new settlement and the adjustments made to the crashed satellite. Things lifted up on stilts and stuff. That'll be very, very good fun to have a look around. Definitely looking forward to that. And another shot from there of a player interacting with some NPCs. Should be cool. And the Wendigo Colossus. It appears to be 3 Wendigos and a ridiculously horrible pair of legs. So we've got that fun to look forward to as well. So, as we continue to work on Wastelanders, we're growing more and more excited to show you some of what we've been working on. In the new year, we're looking to share some previews of upcoming Wastelanders content with you, so that you can get a better idea of what to expect when humans return to Appalachia. Along the way, we'd like to introduce you to a few of the characters you'll meet and the environments you'll encounter during your travels, take a closer look at some of the new weapons and enemies we're adding, post some more screenshots, and offer details about new systems and other improvements that are on the way in this update. So we already know from what Bethesda have said that it's going to be a pretty expansive update, so that's really, really cool. But seeing a little bit more, building up a little bit of hype will be more than welcome. I'm looking forward to seeing what we've got in store. New characters, always fun, definitely looking forward to that. It is, after all, the crux of the whole update. And then new weapons, there's definitely some stuff in there that I'm very interested to take a look at, so that should be cool. Very, very excited to sink my teeth into that. New enemies, cool, always cool. By this stage, even the newer enemies to the game we're well familiar with, so new combat challenges will be most welcome. And some new systems. They've hinted at a few of these over the last few months, so looking at some of those in more detail will be certainly welcome, along with including things like further updates they're going to be making to the event system and stuff like that, which will be very, very cool to see. But, as a last little note, Purveyor sale is currently live. If you've got legendary scripts that are burning a hole in your pocket, then you're in luck. As Purveyor Murmuga is hosting a legendary sale event this week. Celebrate Black Friday all week long by visiting a shop in Berkeley Springs to get 25% off any legendary weapons or army buy until 12 PM Eastern Time on Tuesday, December the 3rd, which will be about 5 PM UK time. So yeah, very, very cool stuff. Very much looking forward to getting stuck into seeing some more Wastelanders stuff. It's nice to see what we've got going on there. Looking forward to seeing what other details people can glean from those screenshots as well. If you've got any thoughts, I'd love to hear those down below as well. For now, we're going to jump back into Fallout 76 later on this evening and tomorrow as well. My secondary character is approaching the point where she's going to be launching her first nuke, so we're getting geared up for that at the moment. Hopefully we're doing that Friday night. Should be worth a watch. Hope you'll join us for that one. Got some more stuff on other games as well coming up next week, I think, as well. So a bit of the Outer Worlds and a bit more of a final push on Jedi Fallen Order as well, which is very, very cool. A few more videos on other bits and pieces around Fallout coming up as well, so looking forward to that. So, wrap this up. As always, social media links down in the description if you want to keep up to date with what I'm doing on Facebook, Instagram or Twitter. Got a few cool screenshots coming as well. And if you'd like to support the channel a little more directly, channel memberships are always very, very much appreciated. You can find more details down in the description or via the blue join button. Or you can always drop a like or a sub as well. Support is massively appreciated as well. For now, thank you very much for watching, and I look forward to speaking to you all very, very soon.